Hello. My dad shared a statistic with me recently that I thought was worth sharing with you as well. And that statistic is that around about 65,000 people tried to commit suicide last year in Australia alone. And it's quite alarming considering where we are as a race, a first world country. We've got all of this technology and all these systems in place to make our life easier, and yet there is still such a high percentage of people who just don't enjoy life, so much so that they feel like they need to kill themselves. And that's quite alarming. And it brings me back to something I will have referenced before, and that is Jim Carrey's great quote, which was, "I wish everybody could become rich and famous so that they could see that is not the answer." Now, if that's not the answer, if this material world that we live in isn't the answer to our problems inside, then what is? That's the pertinent question of our time, because this epidemic of depression and thereby the epidemic of attempting suicide is increasing. So what is the answer? Well, based on my experience, when I was younger, I was just focused on the external world. We're told to focus on the external world. Our senses, 5 senses, are based around this external world, and that's what we're told to focus on and what we're told to be good at, dealing with this external world. Very few things, very few systems teach us to be aware of our internal world and what we're feeling inside. Now, the internal and the external world aren't separate. They're directly connected. And what is above is so below. What is inside is also outside. So you can't have one without the other. But because we as a human race are so focused on this external world and haven't given much consciousness to our internal world, the focus must shift. The feeling must be that we're completely focused on the internal world. We've got this external world down pat. We've spent our whole lives refining ourselves to deal with this external world. We've done a good job. You've done a good job. Now it's time to look within. Now it can be hard initially. It can be hard to become aware of something that you've never been aware of before. God, that's difficult. But we have to find a way. And there is a way for you specifically, but only you know the answer to that. So we have to try as a race to find a way for ourselves to become better, to become more human, to become what we were meant to be. Now, the ability to, what we're all going for in this life is a feeling. Everything that we do is to achieve a feeling, whether it be pursuing academia, pursuing sporting glory, pursuing, financial gain. Anything and everything is for a feeling. And so some masters have gone away and they've found that feeling can be attained inside just by understanding ourselves. There's no need to go out and do these things that we do externally. I mean, it's great, fun. It's great to have fun. But if it's your only way of attaining a feeling, that feeling can only be fleeting, because the material world dies, but what's inside of us doesn't. And so there is a way to find something inside of ourselves Some people call it the singularity, some people call it God, some people call it source consciousness. There are many names for it, but effectively it is the essence of us. That which is essence in me and which is essence in you is indeed one. There is no other. It is all one. And when we can find that, there is an ability to be truly at peace. And a really good example of how this works is basically when you find that, you have the ability to become a philanthropist. Now, we as Westerners, we say a philanthropist and you think of Bill Gates. I can't think of anyone else really rich and famous, but Bill Gates is a philanthropist. He has climbed the professional ladder and he is extremely wealthy, and he's found that although he's done that, now that he's got nothing else to gain in this material world, what's important? Helping others. And philanthropy means a love of the human race. So a philanthropist is somebody that does something. It doesn't necessarily have to be financial, but it is for free to help the human race, to help others. Now, Jesus knew this. Buddha knew this. Many enlightened masters knew this. And so they realized that they are connected to everybody and that everything they did for everybody else affected them positively. They could feel it. As human beings, now we can't, we've lost that connection. So when we do something for someone else, we don't feel really great. But these enlightened masters did, and there is great potential for us to feel that way. And when I feel that way, everything becomes amazing. I don't matter anymore. It's the people around me, the things around me. It's not just about people, it's about everything that matter. So, people trying to hit me with things I've done wrong, for example, at work. I'm fine with that. They say, you've done this wrong, Josh. I say, fine. How do I correct it? How do I do it better? What do you want me to do? Because it's about you, it's not about me. And they can feel it. They may not be conscious of exactly what's going on, but they can feel it. When they go up, when bosses go up to somebody and they tell somebody they've done something wrong, there'll be a sense of that person needing to defend themselves. But if you can get to the point where you feel somewhat united, you can find that thing that is essence in you and which is essence in them, it doesn't matter anymore. And you become a philanthropist in everything you do. I try to as much as possible, and it makes my life and it makes everyone else's life better, because everything I do for them, I feel the positive. I feel great about it. So all the work, the so-called work that everyone hates, becomes a pleasure to help others. And so I come out of there and I go to my day-to-day life, and that pleasure spills over into my day-to-day life, and suddenly in my day-to-day life I'm working. I'm spending my time helping others, which is amazing. And I have energy to do it because I feel amazing. I feel enthusiastic. I feel enthusiastic about it. And I love that word, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, I have heard it described, or the actual meaning described, and that enthusiasm means in God. So to be enthusiastic is to be in God, or in love, in whatever, just the positive emotion. Now that's quite a hard task to get to that point. It's been a long road to get there. And everyone else's road and everyone else's experience will be slightly different. So it's not necessarily the end goal for everybody. But it's just to show that how life feels at the moment is not how it has to feel, and that everyone feels different. And that there is a way to change. The material world that we're focused on isn't the only world. There is a world inside of ourselves, and when we change that, this external world changes. The way it interacts with us changes. And to see that is the most profound thing. Because once you see it, once you see how that shift inside shifts everything outside, then it's over. Inevitably, you will get to a place where this life is beautiful, where you are beautiful, where everyone is beautiful, and where you enjoy doing anything that you're doing. Life is amazing. You are amazing. And when we as a race can see that, this whole planet, this whole system, this whole life will change. But we as individual human beings, you and I, we can't do that for everyone else. We can only focus on ourselves and improve ourselves. So let's get started. Thank you.